Another incredibly popular card from Pokemon 151 is Venusaur EX. This Pokemon with 340 HP is one of the bulkiest in the game, and it's got some very interesting stuff going on, including the ability to knock out Charizard EX, which is floating around on the ladder in big numbers. Its attack, Dangerous Toxwhip, does 150 damage for 2 grass and a colorless. Then our opponent's active Pokemon is confused and also poisoned, which is super useful. It effectively deals 160 and asks your opponent to flip a coin if they want to attack. We also have the Tranquil Flower ability on this card. When we are in the active, we can heal 60 damage from one of our Pokemon, and that can potentially be really useful, especially if you can get multiple Venusaur heals off in a turn. Now, we are obviously going to find it quite difficult to get this Pokemon in play, so we're going to pair it up with Hisuian Lilligant V-Star, a 260 HP Grass-type V-Star Pokemon with a decent attack. Parallel Spin for 2 grass and a colorless does 130, plus we can return an energy from the Pokemon to our hand, and then deal 100 more. That's 230 damage. That's nothing to sneeze at. But really the thing that I'm most impressed about with this card is its Star Perfume ability, which allows you, during your turn, to search your deck for any combination of up to 5 grass Pokemon and energy, then put them into your hand. That is super useful, because it means that when you have a rare candy, you can Lilligant for the Venusaur and get yourself straight into your main attacking Pokemon. It also links in really well with Gardenia's Vigor. Sometimes when we have this supporter, we don't have grass energy in hand, so the Lilligant can guarantee that they are there. Gardenia will allow us to draw 2 cards and then attach up to 2 grass energy to one of our benched Pokemon. So that can be very useful. Now, I mentioned we're going to be doing a lot of healing. We've obviously got our Venusaur in this deck, but we also have access to Radiant Tsareena, which means that we can theoretically heal 140 or 200 damage in a turn, depending on what happens on our board. The other thing that's going to be very interesting is to see whether we can get this really fat Venusaur EX out of the active. It has 4 retreat cost, which means that it's pretty much locked in the active whenever it's there, apart from if we attach one of 2 of our Big Air Balloons to this Pokemon. When this card is attached to a stage 2 Pokemon, it has no retreat. So theoretically, we can have a Big Air Balloon Venusaur in the active, we can heal 60, we can retreat into another Venusaur, we can heal 60 again, and then we can use one of 4 copies of Jet Energy to shoot our 3rd Venusaur into the active, and then heal again. You know what, we might even be able to get in there with a switch or 2 if we chose to play them, but I've elected not to. I think 200 damage of healing in a turn is probably going to be enough. Ultimately, this list is a little bit on the casual side. I mean, you can still play with it and win on the ladder. As I mentioned, it knocks out Charizard EX relatively easily, thanks to Lilligant V-Star, and it's actually quite awkward for other decks to deal with, especially if they don't play switching cards, just because that poison and confusion can be quite awkward. But I wouldn't expect to win every single game. If you are expecting to win every single game, then, you know what, play something else. This is for fun. We're having fun here. Hopefully you like the look of the list. If you do, it's down in the description. You can copy it into Pokemon TCG Live and play it yourself. Also, whilst you're there, if you could like and subscribe, that would be brilliant. And comment for me, what Pokemon from 151 would you like to see next? We've got quite a few, actually, floating along here that you can probably see. This one here's Onyx. We're going first, and we've got ourselves a start. It's not a good start, but it's a start. We've got a Bulbasaur in the active, plus 2 Nest Balls, which will allow us to find another Bulbasaur and a Lilligant. Not great. We can't necessarily switch this Bulbasaur out of the active. He's just a bit of a... He's too chunky. He's too chunky a monkey to get out of the active, but you know what? That's fine. It's going to be great. We've got Gardenia, we've got a Grass Energy, we've got a Pokégear, we've got all the cards we need in our hand to be able to draw out of this, and wouldn't you know it, we're facing off against a Charizard EX, so hopefully we can find a way to get a couple of knockouts in this game. I'm not convinced. You know what, I advertised it as doing this, so we should try at least to do it. We'll hopefully be able to get a win against this Charizard deck. Now, I've been Iono'd, which is not great, considering all of my Gardenias were in my hand. But you know what? You know what? That's actually a pretty solid hand here. I'm happy with this. We've got a Rare Candy, we've got a Venusaur, we've got Research, Ultra Ball, Grass Energy. They're all here. They're all available to us, and I've got to say, the 151 energies, the hollow ones, look so good. They look really, really nice. Hopefully, you're the type of person that enjoys them as well, because I'm going to have them in every video, because they just look great. Look at them down in the corner there. They're just so nice. Hopefully, as we record, my Grass Energies, which I've ordered, come to my house, which would be nice. We're going to evolve our Venusaur. We're going to Ultra Ball as well. I think we can probably afford to do that. We'll get rid of the Mew and the Bulbasaur here. I'm going to grab myself a Hisuian Lilligant V-Star. We'll bench that. We will also attach an energy, I would think. We might as well Artisan too, grab another Bulbasaur if we need one. What else do we have in our deck here? We really need anything else here. There's 3 Jets, which is good. I mean, we could wait for the Jet, so we could research and hope to draw Jet, or we could attach the Grass and go from there. I'm leaning towards attaching the Grass Energy, just because I don't necessarily want to lose it, and then we'll research, and of course, we immediately hit the Jet Energy, but that's okay. I think we're just going to sit here. Our opponent can't necessarily do too much to our board state this turn. They can't attack into our Venusaur, they can't attack into our Lilligant for a knockout. They just don't have the cards to do that. So we're going to sit here, and next turn we are going to pop off. We're going to have a huge turn with multiple Venusaurs coming into play. At the very least, a powered Venusaur or a powered Lilligant in the active. That's the option for us. That's the thing that we're going to try and achieve if we can. And to be brutally honest, if our opponent takes a knockout here, if they elect to KO this Bulbasaur, then we are going to be in an absolutely great position. Because we're going to be able to Lilligant with Gardenia's Vigor. We're going to be able to Jet Energy into the active. All will be well. I shouldn't have mentioned the fact that we could do things, because now we're getting Iono'd, and that is not ideal. But hopefully, we draw into Gardenia's Vigor again, and we do, so it's all fine. We've got exactly the same hand, effectively. We've got exactly the same hand. I don't know what everyone was worried about. We've got everything that we need. Now it's just a matter of seeing where our opponent elects to... what they elect to do. Do they choose to try and attack if they can? Do they get the Charizard at all? They've got all the Curliers that they could need. Do they find... They've got a Rare Candy that they're willing to discard. They must have it, surely. Mysterious Tails. It's got to be grabbing an Ultra Ball. Here we go. We are going to see the Charizard coming into play. And so if the Charizard attacks into this Bulbasaur, we're knocking that bad boy out with Lilligant. It's happening. Because Charizard EX is weak to Grass, obviously. It's a Dark type. It's weak to Grass. Because historically, Grass-type Pokemon have always had strength over Dark types. I don't know. Don't pretend to understand how the game works or why it works the way it does. All I know is that Lilligant V-Star can take the one shot, and that's what we're going to do. Looks like they've got all of their attackers set and ready to go. The one thing that I think we really need to do is I think we need to find access to another Lilligant V if we can. Just because that attacker is so strong in this matchup. We'll see what we can do, but right now, we are ready to promote, and we're going to promote the Mew, because it means that we can Mysterious Tail straight away, which I really, really like. A Grass Energy is good. Let's go for Artisan. I think now's the time to grab that extra Bulbasaur, so we'll pop that down onto the bench, and now we can use Lilligant V-Star's Star Perfume ability and search our deck for a bunch of Pokemon. Now, I think an Ivysaur is going to be a good one. I think some Energy are going to be good. Tsareena could be good. You know what? We could just go like this and get Tsareena and the... Oh, I forgot to get the extra Lilligant. That's okay. It doesn't matter. Oh, the Bulbasaur got knocked out, Mitch. Come on. Focus up here, mate. Focus. Focus on what's happening in front of you. It's okay. We have access to the Lilligant still. We can attack. We've got a Pokégear we can put into our hand. We've got a really, really good hand, presuming that it stays the same. Our opponents used Iono like multiple times. They're going to be pretty much guaranteed to be able to do it, to be honest. We'll play down the Tsareena, and now we will parallel spin. We'll take the knockout, and yes, we would like to do the extra damage. I would like to put the Jet Energy back into my hand. I've got 2 grass energies. I think I want to put the jet energy back into my hand. So that means that we can fire a Mew into the active, or even the Venusaur if we need to. So 2 prizes, a good start. We've got Big Air Balloon and the Rare Candy. So we are in a great spot, assuming that our opponent doesn't Iono. If they Iono us, not so great a spot. Actually, considerably worse spot. But you know what? It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm not worried about it. You shouldn't be worried about it either. I'm just going to quickly double check something whilst my opponent's playing their turn. Oh, as I'm recording this, my Pokemon cards are very close to arriving. I'm going to get a whole bunch of energies and 2 other Pokemon, because that's all I could really justify getting from this set. I'm picking up a Mew from 151, and I'm picking up a Zapdos. And then I'm picking up a bunch of energy, because the energy cards look sick, and I want to play them in multitudes. So I'm going to do that. Our opponent has the Gallade, which means that if they want to, they can grab the Iono. But why would they want to grab an Iono when I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13 card hand? Why would they want to get an Iono when I have a 13 card hand? They wouldn't want to. They just flat out wouldn't want to do it. They certainly wouldn't want to play it. They got it out of the deck to thin, right? They got it out of the deck to thin. They got it out of the deck to thin. To thin. Where's their Charizard, I think, is the biggest question. Haven't been able to find one of those yet. There's the Iono. We get into a Gardenia, which is nice, so we can at least use that. They're retreating? No Charizard? Are you kidding me? Oh my word. Okay. Well, that's something else. Now we should definitely win the game, right? Because the Venusaur just can't be knocked out. This Venusaur flat out cannot be knocked out by a Charizard EX. It can't be done. It can't be done. Alright, cool. You know what? Drawing into another energy is fine. We can Gardenia here. That seems pretty good. We can accelerate 2 grass energies to our benched Venusaur. So now he's ready to attack. What else should we do? Should we put another one on, or should I'm just going to hold it. I'm just going to hold it just in case. I'm going to fire this. Should I fire the Venusaur into the active? Maybe I should, yeah, because I can take the knockout with the Venusaur here. And then I can also heal off the Lilligant's damage. And then next turn, if they do get a Charizard in play, I can attack with the Lilligant again. So we'll heal that off, and then we can go for the dangerous Tox Whip into the Gallade, 150 damage plus the poison, which will then take the knockout. That's a pretty solid thing to have done. If our opponent does try and gust around our Venusaur, then they will take a knockout on the Lilligant, but you know what? They can't ever Oko Venusaur EX. It is actually impossible for Charizard to do that in a single shot. 340 is just beyond the realms of possibility. So I like this situation as we currently find ourselves. We need to take 2 more knockouts, but next turn we can choose to take whatever knockout that we want with Boss's orders, and we can also potentially power up another Venusaur. We can Rare Candy Ultra Ball for Venusaur. If we find ourselves another copy of Gardenia, then maybe even attacking with a fresh Venusaur is a possibility. So definitely achievable. There's the Charizard EX into play. We're going to see a massive, massive powering up of that Charizard and another Iono. We'll see whether we can find a card or 2. We can. The Jet Energy is very good. The Jet Energy is very good because now if they retreat into the Charizard, we can Jet the Lilligant into the active and take the KO. And not only that, we can also heal this Lilligant for 100% of the damage that was on it. So the hit from the Gallade means nothing. We can heal the 20 with Tsareena, the 60 with Venusaur. This is looking like a pretty solid game. I'm 99% sure that we're going to win. I think this actually just checkmates our opponent. The only thing that they could do to create some genuine drama here would be to like boss up our Bulbasaur, and then we just can't deal with it. I think that would be the scariest thing to do. So we'll see whether or not we are able to take this all the way. We'll Elegant heal. That heals 20. Then Tranquil Flower will heal 60 I misclicked. I meant to click on the Lilligant. It doesn't really matter. We find a Gardenia, which is interesting, off of that Pokégear. It's not usable, really. We don't have any energy, but we can draw 2 cards, which I do like. And we found Boss's Orders. So now we jet into the active. We use the Lilligant Parallel Spin, and if we take the Jet energy off again, then we can't even be gusted. So I think we just take the Jet, we knock out this Charizard, and now the game is pretty much locked up. If our opponent elects to take knockout on the active, then we can simply promote our Venusaur and attack. We've got Boss's Orders, so if they do attack with a Charizard EX, we can even go around it if we need to. Imagine that, a Venusaur EX doesn't actually knock out the Charizard in one hit, which is disappointing, but as long as our hand stays the same, we will be able to win this game. What has just happened there? My opponent only has 3 cards in deck. Did they have a Super Rod? If they had well, they didn't have a Super Rod. It looks like they're out of energy. I think we just win. I think we're just about to win. They're gonna get Iono'd. Okay, alright. Do they have a way to switch? I feel like that we just get the boss anyway. We just get the boss anyway. It's fine. I think we've just done it. I think it's over. They pass. And then we can simply retreat into our Venusaur EX and take the KO on this Mew. We don't even need to stress about the boss. Dangerous Toxwhip will do the job, taking a prize and winning the game against Charizard. And if you told me 25 years ago when Pokemon came out that Venusaur would be able to one-hit a Charizard EX, then I would have been very, very surprised. I would have also asked you what you were doing talking to me, because I was only 6. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Appreciate you coming by as usual. Like, subscribe, and comment, etc. And I will see you all next time for more from the Sableyes. Bye-bye.